Can you talk a little bit about year two and how much things have slowed down for you and maybe some of the guys as well?
Yeah, so with me initially, man, just being able to have a better understanding of the playbook, you know, and we require our guys and we challenge those guys to master the playbook, you know. So I think about us having the same staff on defense, being able to teach those guys the same techniques and refine those techniques and fundamentals, it's a huge advantage for our guys going into spring, just from a confidence standpoint. So.
With Evan declaring for the draft, that obviously leaves a spot up for grabs with competition at defensive line. How is that level of competition looking so far at that position to start spring camp?
Man, today was the first day of pass, right? So we got a great film, but our guys know that we compete in everything we do. That's from the moment they walk into the building. That's in the weight room. That's in the position meeting room. That's how they take the field. They compete in everything we do. But we definitely want to focus on the practices with pads on, especially in the trenches. But for the first couple of days, man, you can feel the competition. You can feel guys flying around. So.
And with Latrell Jean, like stepping up in that role with Coach Rock describing him as the spirit of that defense, how has he stepped up in that role of just helping the guys get used to everything going on?
Man, Latrell, man, he's a guy that has a strong voice. He has a strong voice. When he speaks, you'll be like, who said that? Because he has a strong voice and people will listen, all right? My deal with Latrell is just always, challenging him to be at his best because people are watching, right? Because he's a guy that they're going to listen to, they're going to look. So, but Latrell is a spirit, man. Guys love Latrell. He's a veteran that's been around here, and we just, continue to challenge him to make sure what he's saying is matching up with his actions and behaviors.
How have the newcomers to the defensive line adjusted to everything throughout spring camp? The newcomers, how have they gotten used to everything? How they adapted themselves?
They've been great, man. Just guys that can come in and have an understanding of our defense quickly, right? We started out with OTAs. Those guys did a good job at picking stuff up, doing OTAs, and as far as installs, we was able to take some of those installs from OTAs and apply them to spring ball, and those guys doing a great job at just picking up right where we left off of OTAs.
Among the players at defensive line, who are the players you think has the biggest chance to step up?
Man, that's a really, really good question. Selfishly, I would like to say all of those guys, but we're expecting a lot from just the entire group, man. I think, and I tell these guys, we don't have an all-star. We don't have an all-star on our D-line, So it requires each and every guy in our room to bring something to the table. Each guy got to find out what their niche is, how can they add value, and they have to find a way to be at their very best. So that's my challenge to those guys, and those guys know that. So
after this first week, any players who have given you that first impressions? Like, which players have given you great impressions to after following the first week of spring practice?
After today with pads on, I think first watching the film gonna be critical, right? But out there on the field, you can just feel guys flying around. You can just feel that as a group.
And how important will it be to maintain that energy going forward with the later weeks of spring camp?
Yeah, no doubt. I think keeping those guys motivated, right? Spring ball, can be long. Just keeping those guys motivated, keeping them locked in, wanting to be their best every single day. That's what we want to do on defense, man. We talk about our identity on defense. That's that's spirit. Stop the run, pressure confuse the quarterback, eliminate explosive, attack the ball, and relentless effort. That's what we believe in. And we want to make sure we're attacking that every single day.
Okay, thank you. You've had a lot of springs here. What are you seeing out of the group this spring that we should be excited about?
New faces. Shout out to Chisholm and Kyler. Them boys just joined the group. Seeing a lot of good stuff from them, a lot of effort. They got to just get used to the sun and everything. South Florida. It's probably one of the better days we'll get anyways. So, the new faces. It's really exciting.
They've all gone through the OTAs, and I'm sure you have gone through a portion of that as well. Is it a chance for you to sit back and understand a little bit more about what the coaches are trying to tell you because you're not in the grind of it?
Absolutely. The different perspectives, from being on the field, being on the sideline, literally boxing, standing by my coach and having him tell them, what to do. I'm looking at him a different standpoint, and it is helping me understand the scheme better and what we got going on as a team and defense.
Lastly from me, I know you're a huge basketball guy. How about the mouth?
The boys got after. I was watching the game too.
Yeah.
Texas thought they was gonna come out with one. We went 3-0 against them boys, you know. So definitely rooting for my guys, man. Shout out Elijah, Big Glad, you know, all them boys, man. Shout out to them.
Marlon. Yep. Marlon, obviously an injury cut your season short as a starter last year. How's that recovery process been for you, like to get back in the form you were before that injury last year?
When I got hurt, it was more of a half glass full thing because, you know, I went through another one before, so this was kind of like a round 2 type thing. It's going smooth, man. It's going smooth. Therapy's good. Shout out Coach Joey. Shout out the trainer room for getting me right every day. They'll tell you better than I can about what they got me going through. It's crazy, but you know, we're coming back stronger than ever for sure.
On pace for the season?
Yes, ma'am.
How do you look back on that season, especially when you played with the amount of progress you were making as a starter and how much you've improved as a player? How do you look back on it?
I have, but at the same time, it was more of a thing as when I got hurt, you know, I was looking out there with, go ahead, ask the question. I really don't know how to answer this right now.
Let me rephrase it. Following off coming off the progress, is a significant progress you made last year. What are the biggest improvements that you're looking to make, especially as you recover from the injury and get back to playing in form throughout spring camp? Like, what are the biggest improvements you're looking to make throughout spring camp after the progress you made last season?
Being more vocal. I feel like I've been here for a while now, obviously, so you know, I've been leading by example this whole time. So I feel like I could rally those guys up, help rally them up. You know, shout out to the Trail. He does a really good job with that. He's very vocal. Merrifield was out there, Will is out there, all them guys out there, Courtney. Just making sure we're all on the same accord. And me personally, you know, just being bulletproof out there. Bulletproof in my legs, my knees, so we don't have to worry about anything. Obviously, football it's the game. So, yeah, honestly.
Obviously, a lot of new guys coming to the team, both freshmen and transfers. Plenty of them in the defensive line in the defensive line. How have you, as a veteran on this team, helped them get adjusted to everything that goes on throughout on FAU's campus?
I make sure I welcome them with open arms. You know, they're part of the game now. They're a good part of the family. So you know, whether that's shouting out, you know, just letting them know that I'm here for them. They come off the field on the series. You know, I'm there for the water with them. Just letting them boys know that they're part of the family, and you know, we gotta really do everything together. You know, it's really not an individual thing. So just make sure we're on the same accord at the end of the day.
After this first week, especially with today being the first day of full pads, how you're thinking the team is looking at the moment?
A lot of work to do for sure, but you know, it's real good seeing those guys get after it. You know, it's football, so once you put on the pads, it's a whole different story than just spiders. But it's very exciting to see them boys get after it. There's a lot of work to do at the end of the day. You know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
It's more of my perspective than anyone else's, I guess, but just having the continuity of the whole coaching staff, especially in the landscape of college football now where so many kids change, how has that helped you guys move through OTAs and now the spring?
It's been awesome. You know, the kids, they know the message, they know the expectations, and they know the standards. I think it's kind of been fun that our entire staff have been able to return for a second year, but I was just looking at our secondary staff returning for a third year. You know, a lot of us, this is our third year here with the same group and the same voices, and the guys, a lot of times we don't even have to coach it anymore. You know, the guys, they're finishing sentences for you. So that part is special when you can get the same group of players, but also the same group of coaches as well. So it's very encouraging.
And you have a lot of new faces that are blending into a mix that you've worked with. How are they blending in?
They've done a wonderful job. Everybody that's come here, they bought right into Coach Herman's message. They bought right into what we're trying to get accomplished as a team. And to the returning guys, and to their credit, they've done a great job at welcoming those guys with open arms. You know, they do a good job at inviting those guys in, helping them out, kind of telling them and giving them the signs of what to expect before it happens. So I think that's been the huge part of the jump more than anything, because when you have guys that embrace the culture and guys that want to help the new guys learn and want to help them kind of come along, it happens really quick.
That's the first thing of selflessness for this team.
Oh, yes.
Opening up.
Yes, ma'am, and we think that is huge.
Overall thoughts on the first week of spring practice, especially today being the first day of full pads?
Oh, absolutely. We thought it was been fun. You know, we've seen some encouraging signs. A bunch of guys out there letting it loose. They're playing. They're letting their athletic ability show. But it's a long way to go. You know, the details of our work has to improve. The way we're coaching and what we're asking them to do, and getting our messages across, and getting them to understand that everything matters is there. But the one thing we all pride ourselves on is our guys are willing to compete and they're willing to be coached. And we think that's more important than anything. You ask them to do something, it's yes sir, no sir. I'll get it right, coach.
Corner secondary is obviously retooling with Jerron Morris and Smoke declaring for the drafts. How are you seeing the guys step up in their level of competition to like compete for those starting spots in the defense?
Those guys are doing a phenomenal job. Like we talked about, me and Coach Gibson now, we're returning for our third season. We've been in the secondary together 3 years now. And the guys, they know us. They know exactly what we want. And it's impressive that a lot of those guys that we recruited here now have been here 2 and 3 years, like Day Hill, like Jaden Williams, like those guys. They're taking the group by the head now. You know, they're guys, they're coming to us and they're implementing stuff with us. Hey, coach, man, we want to help the guys this way. You know, as a group, we want to do more things together. We want to do this, we want to do that. So the bond we have and the connection is stronger than it's ever been. And we've seen some early production with that on the field. But like I said, also, this allowed them to help each other through it too. Help each other through growing pains when they make mistakes. Stuff. Nobody gets down on each other. Everybody's encouraging. Everybody's willing to help. So we're expecting to have a really, really special group.
Plenty of new guys in the secondary, namely Phil Ward, Dunham, Logic, and among many others. How well have they adapted to their surroundings within the program and on campus?
They've been awesome. Like we had guys like Philip Dunham, like Wendell Fuller, like Kazir Brown, like Cameron Goggins. A lot of those guys that's come from other places, junior college, 1AA, NAIA. But the one thing all of those guys did, those guys came here and they chose us because they liked the standard of the program. They fell in love with Coach Herman's message, and they fell in love with playing for the Owls. And I think when you have kids that really want to play for your program and really want to be coached by your position coaches, they'll do whatever you ask them. So we have no issues with those guys as far as the demands and the stress we put on them, because they came here, they fell in love with it, and they want to play for this place, and they're appreciative of it. So we're having a great time with them.
Obviously, a lot remains to be seen even after 1 week, but which players in the secondary have impressed you the most throughout after this first week?
We've definitely been impressed with some of our younger guys. You know, some of the older guys have taken great leaps and bounds, like Day Hill. He's done a great job. You know, coming in, being a senior this year, really locking into the coaching. Guys like Jaden Williams have stepped up right away. But some of the freshmen that should be in high school, like Lawrence Johnson, you know, he came in right away. He's been doing a phenomenal job. But those guys come in because they're football guys. I mean, they want to learn ball, they want to talk ball, they want to be coached. So when you see the production, there's no surprise. So we're very impressed with him, but we're also very impressed with the entire unit, especially those transfer guys, because a lot of times those guys come from other places, they kind of used to doing it a certain way. Those guys have jumped right in, and whatever we've asked them to do, they've done it.
What are some things you're looking at the secondary to see them like progress throughout the entirety of spring camp?
3 things we've highlighted. We've highlighted our communication. We want to be loud. We want to direct traffic on the field. We want to increase our ball production. You know, we talked about being able to attack the ball, not being afraid to make a play. Every day we want to have at least 2 interceptions. You know, that's our goal. And the third thing is being a physical unit. We want to leave spring ball with our offense saying, man, those DBs are physical. Like, they'll hit you, they'll get off blocks, and they make tackles in the run support. So those are our kind of our 3 pillars to get done this spring. So I think we're off to a good start. Long way to go, but very encouraged about how willing the guys are to be coached hard.
Old person in the room question.
Okay.
How many of your wide receivers and defensive backs saw the movie Karate Kid?
How many of them?
Yeah.
I would say 0.
You guys talk about wax on,
Yes,
wax off? I'm
yes.
like, they don't even know what that means.
They have no clue. So this is how crazy our guys are. I put up a quote of the day every day. The first 2 days of practice, the day one, our coach was from Phil Jackson. They had no idea who it was. And day 2, it was Tony Dungy. They had no idea who these guys were. So our guys, they if it ain't after 2000, they got no clue. It's crazy.
That's funny. This is a veteran in the group, so you've been through multiple of these springs. What's something that you've enjoyed this spring so far?
Well, for this spring so far, knowing that I used to play receiver 4 years ago, now I'm back at receiver
Oh,
after
okay.
the past 3 years. So yeah, I'm excited to get back out there, help the offense, put points on the board, help it any way that I can, stretch the field that they did need. I'm just happy to be back on the offensive side of the ball.
Very good. I didn't realize that you had switched sides of the ball.
Yes.
Can you comment on what he said before? Do the defensive backs get after it? And
They definitely do. You can tell the difference between last year and this year. It's like how much details like they're intending in practice. Last year, sometimes we didn't really focus on most of the small details, which caused us not to do well, I would say. But this year, you can tell like them boys are like focused on every detail, like the smallest detail, because the smallest details in the game, those details like cost you like a yard or 2 yards, like, and those are big yards in certain situations. So.
I'll ask another question of that has come up today. Actually, is you're not coming from another school, but you're coming from another side of the ball. Has the wide receiver room embraced what you're trying to do?
Yeah. In my eyes, we sort of got a completely different receiver group. So them boys know I haven't been playing receiver in the last 4 years. So it's like they helping me get back into the receiver modes, the zones, get back into my footwork, because obviously it's different from offense and defense. Learning the concepts, and I like how they kind of test me when I wouldn't expect it. As in, like, they'll come up to me when I'm in the locker room, ask me questions. Oh, what you got on this? Or what type of release should you take? What's your splits? So those type of things like keep me on edge, so I can know what I'm doing on the field. But then, boy, they know like what my position is and like the type of situation that I'm in. So which is gonna keep me better.
What are you most looking forward to this spring?
This spring, what I'm most looking forward to making this offense explosive, and that's every receiver in the room. That's all about us objective. Last year we know it didn't really go the way we wanted it to, but this year, like, we know for a fact that it's going to be completely different. So.
And you've got quarterbacks out there who can sling it.
Yeah,
so
they can definitely.
It's been fun.
Yes, Tyreek, he has a cannon, and same thing with Cam that just came from Marshall. He can definitely throw it too. That left hand I love it. So.
1 week throughout spring camp, what are your overall thoughts on how the team has been going through each of the practices so far?
All together as a team, you can, like I said before, you can tell the difference between last year, this year, and not even just last year, but the past couple of years. Like, you can tell that we have a foundation. We have like something that we all know what we have to be, like where we want to be, and we all know like what we have to do to get to that point. Last couple of years, we obviously had people like cancers on the team who wouldn't really do the right thing, which will cause other people to kind of get out of their ways. But everyone is like, it's almost like everyone knows what we have to accomplish and what we want to accomplish and what they have to do in order to accomplish what we want to accomplish. Everybody knows we want to win a ring, we want to make a bowl game. So it's like everybody, we know what we have to do to get there. That's the complete difference I can see from last year to this year.
And the position change from corner to receiver. It sounds like it doesn't seem that big of a change for you since you're already familiar with the receiver position.
It's not that big of a change, but there is some rusty areas, some gray areas that you have to kind of clean out, like as in like your route running, focusing on the point of the ball when it's coming in, because obviously most DBs don't get as many catches as receivers, so those types of things you have to really put effort and detail into. But I'm liking it so far, so we're just gonna keep going.
did the coaches ask you about changing your position, or did you come up with the idea of contributing on the offensive side of the ball?
It was kind of 50-50.
Uh,
Yeah. I kind of wanted it, and the coaches on the offensive side, they wanted it also, and they bought me in like no other. So we're just gonna keep going. Coach Carter talked to me, Coach Beatty talked to me, Coach Fry. We gonna make something work.
What's the biggest thing you're looking to see from the team throughout these upcoming weeks of spring camp?
What you said? What's the what?
What's the biggest thing that you're looking at of the team for the upcoming weeks of spring camp? What's the area that you want to see them see yourself and the team grow the most throughout the entirety of it?
The number one thing I can say that I would want to see us get better at is finishing practices.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like last year, finishing games, that was one of our lower points in the season. So like this year, I can tell like people is putting more energy and time into like details into finishing practice, like not just trying to make it through, but like putting effort and energy into it to get all you can get out of it. And I feel like the ending part of practice, that's gonna take us a long way, because once we get that embedded into us, it's gonna be like natural. It's gonna be a natural instinct. So by the time the season comes, we'll be able to finish games and work out for most of us.
Good. Thank you much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
No problem.
Thanks, Justin.